Hello, welcome back to my state government mini-series. So today is going to be a very important, very long, very dense video, so stick with me. So today we're going to talk about legislative sessions, how bills get passed, and who has power throughout that process. So like usual, this is a focus on the state of New Jersey. But some other states operate similarly, but make sure you research your own state's policies. Alright, so let's get started. The legislature isn't always working, just like us with school. One legislative term is split into two different sessions, and these two sessions are continuous, meaning any unfinished business from the first session automatically goes into the second session. But at the end of the second annual session, any unfinished business is void. Basically meaning it just has to be reintroduced in the following year. So the two-year terms begin at noon on the second Tuesday of every even year, which is basically just after the state assembly and sometimes the Senate election. While some committees still do meet in the summer, not much happens. And this hiatus occurs after the state budget has been approved, which is no later than July 1st of that year. Alright, so we got legislative sessions. Now how does a bill get passed? It's a long, tedious process in many places that a bill can be killed or stopped in its tracks. But let's get into it. The process of passing a bill at the state level is pretty similar to passing it at the federal level. And to understand how a bill gets passed, you really need to understand the key people involved in this process. The bill must be introduced by a legislator from either house. And when I say house, I don't mean like a home. I'm actually referring to either one of the two legislative houses, either the Senate or the General Assembly. So, back to step one. The idea for the bill may come from the legislator themselves, or a suggestion from a constituent, an interest group, or even the governor. Then the Office of Legislative Services, a nonpartisan agency that works with legislators, helps them draft the bill language, making sure it fits with all the legislature's formatting. So before we can move forward any further, let's talk about what co-sponsors are and prime sponsors are of a bill. So pretty much every bill has co-sponsors. It's almost like signing a petition. Legislators from that house can sign on in support of the bill. And every bill has a prime sponsor. And they have a lot of special responsibilities and one fun fact. Both houses allow for a second prime sponsor as well, and the General Assembly sometimes even up to 4. Okay, so we have sponsors and co-sponsors down pat. Before a bill can be passed in a single house, it has to be read 3 times. So before a bill can be read, the prime sponsor must deliver it to either the Secretary of the Senate or the Clerk of the Assembly. This is step number 3. The Clerk and the Secretaries are basically elected members from each house who oversee the basic operations to make sure the legislative sessions run smoothly. So a bill is formally introduced, also known as its first reading, when the Clerk or Secretary reads its assigned number, its co-sponsors, and title at a session. This is usually step number 4. Then the Senate President or the Assembly Speaker, depending on the house you're in, will usually refer the bill to one of the House's many committees for reference. So, who are the Senate President and the Assembly Speaker? I'm happy you asked. They are the functioning heads of their respective house, with a lot of unique power and responsibilities. They alone, through action or inaction, can stop nearly any measure from passing. Here are some of their special responsibilities. They strategically refer bills to committees. They decide on meeting schedules and which bills can be heard. They preside or stand over legislative sessions. And they appoint committee chairs and members. So, what's a committee? There are a number of committees in each house covering a wide range of topics. For example, the Committee on Agriculture, on the Environment, or Transportation. The idea is that legislators with interest or expertise in these areas are put in these committees. For the bill to move forward at this point, the chair must schedule the bill for a hearing, and then there will be a public hearing on the bill. However, it is in this stage that many bills die or do not move forward. At this hearing, individuals, lobbyists, and public interest groups can come and testify in support or against the bill. So after the hearing, the committee will vote on the bill, if they want to move forward or not. If the committee reports the bill, meaning they think it's a good idea, then it is given to the secretary or clerk of that given house, and it can be reported with or without amendments, meaning that they changed the bill in some way. Generally speaking, now that the bill is moved out of committee, it will be given its second reading. The second reading occurs at a general session of that house, and at this point, the bill can still be amended. you can begin to see how long of a process this is. And remember, at each step of the process, there are opportunities for the bill to be stopped and not move forward any further. Only a fraction of the bills that enter the House get out. Once the Senate President or Assembly Speaker schedules the bill, the third reading occurs. If you remember, this is the final reading. Finally! This is when the final debate occurs, and the bill is voted on by the entirety of the House. For most measures, it's just a simple majority vote, either 21 senators or 41 Assembly people. Whew! So you thought that was a lot? It was, but now the bill must go through the same entire process in the other House. And if any amendments are made at this point forward, it has to go back to the original House as well. This is because before the bill can be moved to the governor, both houses must have passed the same version of the bill. Finally, we're back to the governor! So the governor has a few options. They have a lot of power here. The governor can sign the bill into law, fully veto the bill, or even just veto specific lines of the bill. And if the legislature wants to override the governor's veto, they can, and with a 2/3 or supermajority vote, just like in Congress. Okay, wow, that was a lot, but hopefully it was helpful. As we wrap up, here's a recap of the 10 steps to get a bill passed. I'll see you in our next video about the state government system, talking about how you as a young person can get involved. Thank you.